You're sitting still right now. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is trying to kill you. And yet some part of your brain is quietly convinced that isn't true. That tension in your shoulders you've had for 3 days. Your brain did that. The way your eyes snapped to movement across the room just now. Your brain did that too. The feeling that something is wrong, even when nothing is. That ancient, nameless dread that arrives at 2 a.m. for no reason at all. That's not anxiety. That's an alarm system that hasn't been updated in 200,000 years. And the strangest part is, it's not broken. It's working exactly as designed. Go back 200,000 years. Your ancestor is standing at the edge of a forest. The savanna stretches out ahead. Open ground. Tall grass. The kind of silence that means something might be in it. Every single sense your ancestor has is pointed outward. Ears tuned. Eyes scanning. Heart rate up. Just slightly, without any conscious decision. The body is ready before the mind knows why. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades studying what he called the low road, the brain's ability to react to a threat before conscious thought has even registered what the threat is. The signal travels from your eyes to your amygdala, the brain's alarm center, in about 12 milliseconds. Rational thought takes at least 3 times longer. Your body is already moving before you decide to move. This is not a flaw. For your ancestor in the tall grass, the 3 milliseconds you spend thinking might be the 3 milliseconds a leopard needs. The system is so sensitive it produces what researchers call false positives. Your brain would rather fire the alarm 10 times for nothing than miss the one time it matters. A snapped twig that was just the wind still sends a jolt through you. A shape in the dark that turns out to be a coat still makes you freeze. Your body treats the 9 false alarms as a reasonable price for surviving the one real one. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman called this system one thinking, fast, automatic pattern matching. It runs constantly underneath your awareness, comparing everything it sees to a database of threats your species built over millions of years. Tall grass, low light. Sudden movement, being watched. Isolation. That last one is important. Isolation. Your ancestors did not survive alone. Separation from the group was not just lonely. It was lethal. A lone human on the savanna had almost no chance. So your brain evolved a specific response to being alone that mimics physical pain. The neuroscientist John Cacioppo studied loneliness for over 20 years and found it activates the same neural pathways as hunger or thirst. Not metaphorically, literally the same pathways. Your brain treats social disconnection as a survival threat. Because for most of human history, it was one. This is why silence in a house feels different than silence outside. Outside, silence is normal. Inside, at night, alone, silence feels like a held breath. Something in you is listening for the group. And when you can't hear them, a quiet alarm begins. Researcher Arne Oman spent years studying what he called prepared learning. The idea that humans are biologically pre-wired to fear certain things faster and more deeply than others. Snakes, spiders, angry faces, heights, darkness. These fears need very little experience to develop and are extremely hard to unlearn. Compare that to cars, which kill vastly more people. Car phobias are rare. Snake phobias are everywhere. Your brain is not afraid of what is actually dangerous to you in 2024. It is afraid of what was dangerous to something that lived in a forest 100,000 years ago. You inherited its fears. You live in its body. And every day, that body is scanning for threats that no longer exist in an environment it was never built for. Think about what happens when your phone buzzes face down. You reach for it immediately. Not because the message might be important, but because your brain registers unresolved social signal as a potential threat. The unknown response to something you said. The message you haven't opened. Your threat detection system, built for predators and rival tribes, is now pointed at a 3-inch screen. Cortisol, the stress hormone your brain releases during threat response, was designed for short bursts. Danger arrives, cortisol spikes. You run or you fight. Danger passes. Cortisol drops. 30 seconds, maybe a minute, then it's over. Modern life doesn't give you that release. The threat is a deadline that's still 3 weeks away. A conversation that went slightly wrong. A worry about money that has no resolution today. Your body pumps cortisol into a system that never gets the signal that the threat has passed. The alarm stays on. The muscles stay tight. The mind keeps scanning. You're still standing at the edge of that forest. You just can't see the trees. There's a detail researchers sometimes gloss over. Humans were not just prey. For most of prehistory, your ancestors were also predators. and the hunted thing, both simultaneously. Primatologist Richard Wrangham argues that the tension of occupying both roles may be part of why human threat detection is so hyperactive. You evolved to be afraid of being eaten and afraid of other humans at the same time, two separate threat systems layered on top of each other, both running constantly. The face of a stranger activates your threat response before you've consciously processed whether they're smiling. A sound behind you triggers a postural shift before you've identified what the sound was. A social slight. Someone dismissing you, ignoring you, laughing at you activates the same stress cascade as a physical threat. Because in the ancestral environment, being cast out of the group was a death sentence. Your brain has no category for the difference. So what do you do with a brain that ancient, running in a world this new? You can't turn the system off. You can't reason your way out of a response that fires before reason begins. But you can understand what's happening. When the 2 a.m. dread arrives with no clear source, that's not a message. That's a false alarm from a system built for a world that no longer exists. When your chest tightens before a presentation, that's threat detection misreading social evaluation as physical danger. When you reach for your phone for no reason, that's your tribal brain looking for the group. The alarm will keep ringing, it was built to, but you're not standing at the edge of the savannah. Nothing is in the tall grass. The tension in your shoulders right now, the same tension your ancestor felt before the leopard, is your inheritance. 200,000 years of survival compressed into the body you carry today. You made it. Every version of you that came before made it too. The only predator left is the one your brain invented.